We're live. So hang on, let me get it up on my other computer so I can see who else in chat. I can see on the other one, Erica's here. Hi, Erica. Hi, Juanita. Today we're going to mess with lettering. I'll talk about materials and then we'll just probably goof around and do some lettering. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do now. When you come in, if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up. It helps the analytics, or the algorithm, actually. So, trying to get ahead in life around here. I have my scavenger hunt book here. I'm only going to do a couple things in it. I got a couple more people who have notified me that they've finished. So, good on them. I'm still not done. But nothing new there. I am going to work really hard, though, this year to get it done. Last year, I think I had like 5 left over that I just didn't ever get to. What the heck? Yeah, so, but this year I'm going to try really, really hard to do them all. There's a couple that I'm really dreading. Hey, Artie Dar. Hi, Kat. I'm getting my chat popped out. And yeah, so, hi, Jane. All right, notifications must have gone out because we got people coming in. Hi, Terry. If you're watching on the recording, just scrub ahead until we get some people in here and I get going. Yeah. Finally, we've got some sun around here. Hi, Barbara. Which, I think I've waited forever for some warm temperatures. Today's like, we might have gotten just above freezing yesterday, but today I think we're getting in the 50s. So, yeah, this is so welcome. Hi, Barb. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Peggy. Peggy has finished her scavenger hunt. Hi, Elmaris. So, but today I'll quickly, while we're waiting for people to come in, I'm going to go ahead and, the weirdest thing yesterday, hi, Galena. Hi, Pamela. I went in, I keep a lot of my art supplies in what I call the kids' room, and it's where when my grandkids come and visit, the little ones sleep in there because it's bunk bed. And I was in there looking for something, and right in the middle of the floor was this button. I have no clue where the button came from. I don't have anything that I'm aware of with a button like this. It literally showed up out of nowhere. Hi, Erica. Hey, Dee Dee. So I don't know. I don't know if it was a gift from the heavens or whatever. I have lots of buttons downstairs. I just hadn't gone to get one yet. But this was just laying on my floor, and I thought, well, now, I need that button for my scavenger hunt. So I'm going to sit here while we're waiting for people to come in, and I'm going to sew it on my tie here. I should put on my glasses so I can see. Last week it was 32 below. Yeah, see, we've had just unbelievably cold weather here. I mean, crappy cold weather here. And now it has turned at least a little bit warmer, and I'm just thankful for that. So there you go. So my button is actually going to be on my tie here, and I'm only going to take like 2 or 3 little stitches. It doesn't have, I mean, it's not going to get used for the most part, so just a little cross here I think will work good. Just because I didn't know what else to do, and I'm sick and tired of these pop tops falling off. That's why I decided to do that. See, that's what I thought too, Kathy. Somebody's saying hi. Hi, by the way, with that button. Because I have no clue where it came from. And who knows? I mean, it could have been in Happy Mail. You just never know. But it was just like, oh, I need that button. Okay, the button is on. I get to check that one off. Hi, Attachy Papers, Jane. Anybody else I might have missed? So yeah. Now, whoever's listening, I also need diamonds and bars of gold, if you don't mind. If it's not too much trouble, you think you could arrange that? Because that's what I need. No, I'm actually, before today, I would have said I'd just be happy with a little bit of sunshine. But it was so funny, you guys. And I felt really bad for the wildlife because we have a lot of wildlife around here. And the other day, I was out in the breezeway and I noticed that some geese, Canadian geese, which I guess they come here because they think they're going to stay warmer. But they were flying down into the lake, and they're here year-round, so that's not unusual. But they came flying down like they were going to land in the lake, and they had their feet out, you know, because they land with their feet out like this. And rather than go into water, they hit the ice because it's been so cold. Our lake has frozen over. I've only ever seen it frozen over completely one other time. I've seen ice around the edges and stuff like that. But he hit that ice, the first one that was coming in, hit that ice and his legs crumpled, and he got down on his chest and just slid. And there were 2 or 3 coming in behind him, and they did the exact same thing. And you could see the marks on the ice where they just glided right across the ice. And I was out there just a little while ago, and the geese were out there. And the edge of the lake has thawed now enough that they could step down into the water. But then they were trying to get up on the ice. Honestly, it was like a cartoon. It was so funny. So, but I feel bad for the herons because they eat the little fish in our cove all the time. And it's so frozen over, I don't know how many days it's been since they've been able to get anything to eat. I thought about taking them a can of tuna out. Like, here you go, here's some fish. It's the only fish. Well, I have some beer battered fish, but I don't think they'd like that. But things are getting back to normal for all of us. So, yep, we're in a thaw. So now I get to mark off button anyway. And I've got stuff in here that I've been collecting here and there. And you guys, Picola the other day at Dee Dee's, last week sometime, because Dee Dee and I, as of right now, our plan is to do journaling by 5s this Thursday, just her and I. And I think Amy's going to come down and hang out with me and be our timer or something. But, hi CB. Picola said something about, well, have you been fussy cutting out some focal images for your journaling by 5s? Well, at that time, I didn't know what all I was going to need. And I just figured, the day before or something, I'll get it all together. I didn't realize I was going to have to fussy cut out a bunch of junk. So as I was going through, and my magazine selection is pitiful, honestly. But I'll show you something I found that is not going to make it pitiful any longer. But I had a couple travel magazines, so I started cutting out stuff for at least the 5 senses because I didn't know what I was going to do for that one. But I did get some stuff fussy cut out, and you'll see it on Thursday. Let me see if I can find buttons since I just finished that one. And I'll count how many I've got left. And I did find a piece of junk mail. And I have a feather. I've just got to figure out how to use it. So slowly, I'm getting stuff done around here. I don't know that I've done a whole heck of a lot since last Monday. I did find this. Okay, I'll show you the books first. So while Amy was sitting here the other day, and we were talking about fussy cutting images, I remembered that Kathy Arbour, who is one of the greatest enablers for books on the planet, had enabled me to buy these 2 books, 365 Reasons for Smiling and 365 Inspirations for a Joyful Life. And in here, and I bought these specifically for the purpose. When she showed them, they were just so cool of books. But look at what's in here. There's just pictures. So look at duck butts. That could be a focal image on one of my Journaling by 5 pages coming up. And I think this one Amy was looking through and I didn't look through it. But look at the seal eating a fish. Look at the dog face. See, this should be a painting. That should actually turn into a painting. Yeah, Kathy Arbour's in there saying, and proud of it. Well, I honestly, some of my favorite books, Kathy, honest to God, have been from watching your show. So I'm not going to even whine, because I hate buying like a book on Amazon sight unseen. But look at these pictures in this book. They are absolutely made for this. So I was freaking out. Some of them are kind of big because I was going to do, the size I was going to do was 8.5 by 5.5. So I may have to alter my size because some of these images are pretty big. But look at that dog with the cat on its head. So I'm actually going to be able to use some of these things. But actually the quotes and stuff that are in here are equally as good. So, but if you've never seen these books, these are awesome, awesome books. I'll have to tilt it so you guys don't get quite so much glare. And I know, Dee Dee, turn off that overhead light. I'm not going to drag up the light from the basement. Look at those dogs on the beach. That's where I wish I was. That's where I wish I'd been the last 2 weeks. Light bulb moment. Hi, Bishop. Mindy, I already said hi. So, yeah, so I'm going to be going through these. Look at the snail. That would be good on a snail mail page. But these are awesome. So I have ample fodder now. If I whine about not having any collage fodder, y'all can just holler at me. Look at, I did bookmark all the monkey pages because I thought if I could find 20 monkeys, I would use 20 monkeys. Look at the monkeys, monkey hugs. That's monkey love right there. So I was excited. That reminds me of Dee Dee. She draws and paints frogs a lot. So there's good stuff in these books. And if I enable you, I'm going to feel just like Kathy Arbour. I'm going to be proud of it. It is easy to be beautiful. It is difficult to appear so. Tell me. Look at him. Just think of what he's thinking right now. Woohoo! Did someone say wine? Are we drinking wine this time of day? So yeah, these are some really, really good images. So expect to see some of these. And I'm going to be honest, the images I pick are going to be things that are easy to fussy cut. I'm just going to be honest with you. I mean, I'll try and, like, look at that face. Ugh. I'll try not to be too Scroogey about it, but I'm just telling you, fussy cutting is not something I want to do. I probably tore that. But I think I actually got these books used. Look at a whole wheelbarrow full of monkeys. Is that not the best thing ever? Duh. And on days when you're feeling like you're having a crappy day, look at this picture and say, thank God I'm not hanging by a wire or whatever that is with a baby hanging off me. Like, life is pretty good. Or I'm not sitting around with a monkey sitting on my head. This one's good. So I don't know. I think there's plenty in here. Oops. That I can find to use. But these books are really, really excellent. So that's why they were sitting here. Look at Dee Dee. There's another monkey. That's pretty excellent. If you can find the right wording to go with that. Hanging up the washing with a monkey on your back. Exactly. See, like, there's so much to be thankful for. Hitching a ride right there. Lots of frogs in here too. Frogs and monkeys. So I think I'll be able to find something in here. That's pretty much how I feel every day. Inappropriate behavior makes me laugh. Hello? That is my life's motto. In fact, I've been thinking about, this page is coming out. I've got to make a t-shirt for the scavenger hunt. I think I just found my t-shirt image. Yep, I think I did. So anyway, I just wanted to show you those. So you guys aren't worried about me and my journaling by fives. And if tearing that page out hurt you guys, I'm sorry. These books, I bought them for that reason. They're not doing anybody any good sitting on a shelf, right? So might as well use the images. And the other thing I think I'm going to use is, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, and I don't know if it's even available anymore. And I don't think Dee Dee and I will have time to look at it come Thursday. I think I'm going to use Sticker Nation for some of the words. Is that cheating? You guys need to tell me right now, is that cheating? But this is something else I have that I don't use that much. So I thought, well, here's your chance. Use it. Right? I'm going to have to make my pages bigger, I think. But anyway, if you've never seen Sticker Nation, this is a really, really good book too. Avert Crisis. So, is that cheating? If I use Sticker Nation? See, I'm starting to collect up stuff for this Thursday, Friday. Or Dee Dee. I'm going to be ready if it kills me. What else was I going to show? Oh, my friend Amy came down, Wolf Princess, the other day, and she had said, I ordered us something really cool. And it was in this little box. The ultimate rinse cup for your paintbrushes and artistic process. So then when I opened it, it's this cool little water brush cleaning thing. And it's got little, I'll take it off. It's got little ribs down here at the bottom that are supposed to not hurt your paintbrushes at all. So that was a fun thing, right? And it just goes together really easy. And then I think she got it off Amazon. Well, knowing Amy, yes, she got it off Amazon. It just goes together like that. And then you've got a place to hold your brushes and let them drip dry. And it's got this little tray to catch it. So that's really cool, right? So thank you, Amy. It's an awesome little thing. It needs some water now. And I can dispose of the box. So look at Galena. She is on that. Thanks, Galena. So that's going to find a new home here on my shelf. I got a really, really nice Valentine from Norma. So thank you, Norma. I think she normally watches the replay. So thank you. It's nice to get an unexpected piece of mail, you know? Just like somebody's thinking about you. So that's a cool thing. And then also, I've been looking around here a lot lately, apparently. I went to the, what do you call it? The reference section of my library in my house. The name of the cup thingy, hang on, I'll drag the box back out, is called the Ultimate Rinse Cup. And I guess it comes in different colors. Yeah. The Ultimate Rinse Cup. Got it? Never mind, found it. Okay, cool. But anyway, I was I think I was actually looking for this. Because back before we had the internet, and I am that old, that there was a time when I did not have the internet where I could just Google everything you wanted. I had started keeping quotes in this book. And maybe this is what I was looking for. I don't know. But it's a book that I had kept for years and years and years of different quotes, inspirational, holiday, congratulations, humorous. Some of the humorous ones are pretty humorous, actually. Inspiration, encouragement. But nowadays, you don't really need that, right? Because you can just get on the internet and look things up. But while I was looking in the reference section of my library, I found this, and I actually had totally forgotten that I had it. It's the Maniac, and it's a daily dose of wonder, and it's like it has all 365 days in it, and it's kind of to boost your gratefulness, your creativity. What's today? February 22nd. We'll go to the 22nd. So, and I think it is as much to be grateful as anything. It gives you a quote here. Daily soul vitamin is true friendship is a plant of slow growth and must undergo and withstand the shocks of adversity before it is entitled to the appellation. George Washington. Toast of the day. Here's to the feel of a quaint store, which we don't know anything about, and we probably won't have any of them. You have this too, Dee Dee? Well, I was so mad at myself because I don't remember what the copyright was on it, but I probably bought it, looked through it, put it on the shelf, and I never remembered owning this. But it's a fun little book. I mean, it's really a fun little book. And on this day, happy birthday to George Washington. He was born in 1732, Drew Barrymore. And on this day in 1879, the first 5 and dime store, Woolworths, opened in Utica, New York. Well, go figure. Did you think you'd learn that today? Hello. A dose of mirth. My heart has been broken so many times it jingles when I walk. Garrison Keillor. Whatever happened to Garrison Keillor, by the way? And journal juju. Make a list of the qualities of a friendship you have and then weave them together like a tapestry of poetic verse, adding words as you are inspired or arranging them in such a way that they sound like a poetic friendship poem. I'm probably not ever going to do that. But it's nice to think about doing. It is a fun book. And then a note to myself. Kick down the walls and explore this life. And then there's always a place in here where today I get to, and you have to figure out what, just something probably, it has to be something you're looking forward to because you get to do it. Otherwise it'd say, today I have to. And that's where you'd put like, go to the doctor. But today I get to drink unlimited coffee. Hi, Auntie Mame. So anyway, I pulled this out and it was sitting here too, and I thought, well, I'm going to show it to you guys because it really is. These kind of books do inspire me. And this last 2 weeks, believe me, I have needed a lot of inspiration because just getting up and dealing with the cold has been a pain in the butt. But I love the little doodles that she's done in here too. And for those of you people who say, oh, I can't draw, you could draw that light bulb. You could draw anything in this book. Honestly, it's just make yourself do it. A lot of them she's repeated. But these are not expert drawings, but you definitely know what they are, right? So that was another thing. I was looking through here thinking, I love these little doodles. And they probably took more skill than you think, frankly. Sometimes drawing bad is as hard as drawing good. So, yeah. I don't even know if this book is still available. But I'm going to leave it out and make myself use it and enjoy it. Because buying this stuff and sticking it on a shelf is annoying the hell out of me. How about that? I put my paintbrush back in my handy dandy little paintbrush holder over here. Because I don't know that I'm going to paint today. We're going to see. But months ago, Miss Vicky B and I showed you guys this. And I love this so much. And it smells delicious. Hang on. Let me go fix the picture on this computer. There. Now I can see better. But just like you guys have seen, all my books, you open it up and there's doodles and there's lettering and there's this and there's that. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to put that all together in one place. And so this weekend I started collecting up some lettering. At some point I may just start slapping it in here. But I became obsessed, which I kind of do sometimes. And I thought, I'm going to do a thing on lettering. So this is a little lettering book, Traveler's Notebook style, which I really like because I can take the pages out. I might bind it someday, but I can take the pages out, and then I'll always have this around with me because this is kind of my everything in one place book. I do doodles in here. I do writing in here. There's a border section. There's just tons of stuff. And there's a couple of my books that are missing in here right now. And then this is my fountain pen that Amy got me, that I normally write with in this book. So it just stays here with it. So as I'm looking through books and different things, I'm going to start collecting it in one place, in this place. And any place else I have it is going away. I'm not going to do it in multiple places. One place. Right? Keep like with like. And as a result, I had gotten out a bunch of my different lettering books. And believe me, I have tons of lettering books. Yeah, this is a cool leather cover. I have tons of traveler's notebooks. Tons of them. But there's something about this one. I don't know. I just absolutely love it. I love the snot out of it. So it's a nice leather cover. It's called a Naked Cow, and you can't get them anymore. So I think that's part of the reason. I just think it's so darn special. So I thought today we would play with some lettering. And I guess the first place to start when you're talking or thinking about lettering is the different tools. It is yummy and petable. For most of the time that I'm writing, drawing, whatever, my very favorite pen in the world is this Hybrid Technica in a 03 nib. These come in 04. You can get this on Amazon in a lot of different nib sizes. I have settled on the 03 as my absolute favorite for just writing. For writing in the Beast, for just writing. Because I can always use any of the microns to bold one side of it or whatever. I think most of these in here were done with this pen. And then when I had to fill something in, like up in here, I probably use the micron. The paper in this little journal is 25% cotton fiber, which you can buy at any paper store. And it's really nice because it's 24 pound and you don't get bleed through. You might get some ghosting, but it doesn't bleed. So that's a good thing. So, yeah, just your lettering materials. I mean, any marker, ballpoint pen. This is just part, but I'll show it to you anyway. Of the brush lettering pens that I've accumulated, and I'll be real honest with you guys. I love the Tombow. These are the Tombow dual tip ones. I do love these. And Zig makes, oh, these are the Zig. The Tombows are somewhere else. But anyway, the Zig. I do like the dual end pens, but more often than not, if I'm going to do brush lettering, I'll be real honest with you, I grab these. And these are called Touch. And I'm not sure, you probably can get them on Amazon. I think I got mine from Jet Pens. But they are a plastic nib. I like the plastic nib because it's very flexible. Let me get a color that you can see. And parts of this is going to sound like a sales show, but I don't mean it to be. And I'll get this one out to show you guys the difference. But these Touch pens for lettering have become some of my very favorites. And I'm just going to work in this composition book. Because these plastic nibs are really, really flexible. You can get like the finest line, and I'll pull you guys down so you can see. Just the finest lines, and you can make them as bold as you want, but then your downstroke can be really bold. So these are really useful pens. The colors are really good, and that is really easy to do with these pens. The dual tip, and Tombow is the same as these Zigs, so they're both going to perform much the same. You can still get a thin upstroke, but not near like you can with the Touch. Now, the thing about these is you can definitely get a wider variation of thick downstrokes. So I think it just depends on what you want. But these are pricey. The whole set of these are pretty inexpensive. Hi, Joan. Oh, and I was going to tell you guys, I did see the tweet from Shauna this morning about Dorothy. She's still in the hospital. And apparently she has some fluid buildup around her heart. But I think she's going to be okay, so go ahead and continue to keep her in your prayers, but it looks like she's going to be fine. So, yeah, I hope that's the case. But there's so many brush pens out there now. One thing I have not ever done much of, and I should make myself, is do brush lettering with an actual brush. I always choose to use different pens. But yeah, I think brush lettering with an actual brush, I think that's a lot harder. For real. Okay, she's going to get a pacemaker. Okay, that's what Shauna had said in the email, that they suspected she was going to end up with a pacemaker. my mom had one put in. They're awesome because, like my mom's, they checked hers by phone. The name of the pens, hang on just a second. But yeah, they could check my mom's Pacemaker by phone and see how many episodes she had had. And if they felt like they needed to see her, they knew it before she did. So no downside to a pacemaker. And there's a doctor that lives around the corner from me who actually owns the patent on those. Don't say poor thing about the pacemaker. Pacemakers, they are the best things ever. Like Dorothy, it won't affect Dorothy at all. And I think my mom's had actually had to work twice, and Mother didn't even know it. So when I heard pacemaker, I was just like, good deal. Takes a lot of the worry out of just dumbing through life, you know. Okay, this one, the dual end one, same size brush, just two different colors. You can get a Tombow just like these that have the brush on one end and then a nib like this on the other end. So yeah, just look, there's a lot of different ones. If all goes well, she'll be back home soon. Yeah, putting in the pacemaker is a really simple thing. They just make a slice in your chest and make a little flap of skin, tuck it in there, sew it shut, and you're like good to go immediately. And then this pen is called a, is this the Fude? Anyway, just look for touch pen, touch brush pen, and you'll find these. And they come in a whole set. You get a lot of good colors. All this came as one set. The black one, I think you can order the black one individually because I think I have a couple of those. The black, it comes with black too. So all these, and I could have sworn I had. Okay, here's the Tombow. I'm sorry. Here's the Tombow. That's a big old fat nib Tombow, and I think you can get these in all different sizes too. And then this one has the felt nib on the other end. Tombow is always a good pen. I mean, I've had Tombows. Some of these Tombows I've probably had 10 years or more, and they still work really well. So, and then of course Micron makes one. But for whatever reason, I like the touch pens. So if you're thinking about doing brush lettering, I would say just get yourself a touch for practice and stuff like that. In my opinion, you really can't beat them. Now this one, this is a Pentel. These, with these nibs like this, they're hard to get that that tiny upstroke, but you get a wider downstroke. And so if you're doing bigger lettering, that can be really valuable. My life is so quiet without her constantly messaging me. Well, I think Dorothy is going to be just fine, so no worries there. Hi, Dabbler. So those are like the brush lettering pens that I would recommend. I don't know that I'm going to do brush lettering today at all, but we're going to look at a lot of different kinds. This I did with the brush letters. I used the wider tips for this lettering. So it's good to have a lot of tools, right? Hey, Donna. Thanks for coming, you guys. And then these were just little doodles that work well with the flowers. There's basic brush strokes. And one of my very favorite types of lettering is illuminated lettering. Illuminated art, but I do love illuminated lettering. So I did get out one of my illuminated lettering books. Dee Dee has this one. I know she does. Dee Dee and I have all the same books, and we've had them before we ever even knew each other existed. But this is honestly my favorite kind of art, my favorite kind of lettering. Probably because it's so ancient. You know, like people came up with this stuff before probably before we knew how to write, really. Hi, Elaine. And I've tried to do a bunch of this lettering, but I do like the decorative lettering. I never did buy the gold or any of that. I always used, you know, more modern tools to do it. I don't know where all mine is. It's in a book somewhere. Pull up so you can see a little bit more as I flip. Sorry about that. But with this, you know, they go into all the different tools. Hey, Jan, that you need. And of course, I've done calligraphy for years and years and years. My calligraphy is so out of practice. But the nice thing is, I think if I just sat down and did it for a week, that muscle memory would come back. You know, if you've done the time early on to do it, it comes back pretty quick. And I think lettering and doing calligraphy and anything like that, I find that very relaxing. Hey, Scooby-Doo. Celtic knots and drawing. I've done a lot of that. But I could do nothing but this, honestly. And you don't find that many really good books about illuminated art. I do have some beautiful illuminated manuscripts and stuff like that. But today we're just going to draw what we can. Look at that P. Wouldn't that be awesome to do that yourself? I think I actually have drawn that one. Flip through it really quick. Look at that, how intricate that is. But now I have the gold, what do you call the gold watercolors? So I probably could do the gold a lot easier now than I could have before when I was trying to use gold ink. It was really hard to work with. Really, really hard to work with. So anyway, that's my favorite, very favorite kind of art. Illuminated alphabet. We both drew that P. Dee Dee, sometimes our likeness and things that we've done scare me. Like, we were the same person, just living at different places. You found the monkey? Good for you. And then my favorite book for calligraphy, and this is the newer version. I have the older version too, is the Speedball book. And we're lucky nowadays because, let me show you. I have all the, I think this is the box that I want. It is. We have all the modern tools, you know, like we're not out cutting a twig to get a nib. If we do, it's just something we're doing for fun, right? But I still like and still use, and Dee Dee does as well, a dip pen. And with this dip pen, the cool thing about these is you get one handle. I have several, but then these nibs are removable. So then you can buy all the different kinds of nibs to work with your pens. These are all really old and their corners are worn down. I've got a bunch of new ones too. So I still like a dip pen. And I like my glass dip pen to write with or draw with. But nowadays, we have calligraphy pens that are fountain pen-like. So you can just buy the different nibs for fine, medium, bold, italic. So, yeah, if you're going to do calligraphy, if you're going to practice and stuff like that, I would say get yourself a set of the fountain pen calligraphy nibs. These are just the easiest things in the world. I only ink these up when I'm going to use them. So these probably have not been inked up in a year at least. But look at this box. This box should just make you happy. I don't even care if I don't use these because this box of pennage just makes me happy. Look at all this awesome stuff in here. Look at, didn't even use it yet. Look at, these are all different kinds of nibs too. Look at, it's just a happy place. This is just a happy place. Got to get something to drink real quick. Everybody should have a box like this. Yeah, exactly, Dee Dee. See, just having this out and picking up the different pens. Most of these in here, well, I would say all of these in here right now have been cleaned. Pens that are inked up are not kept in here. And I always clean the pens before. Now this one, it comes pre-inked, so, yeah. No, it's not. I must have cleaned this one. But yeah, any pen in here, it's clean. That's only the tip of the iceberg. Well, the dip pens, handles, and stuff like that are somewhere else. And then, of course, the pens that I'm using are obviously not in here. Here's one. I don't think the Mont Blanc is in here. Nope, it is in here. I'm not using it right now. This is the nicest pen that I have right here. The Mont Blanc. I love this pen. And this one I ordered, and I'm really unhappy with it. And I'll tell you why. I like the metal. I like the way it looks. I like everything about it except this where your hand is supposed to grip. The grooves aren't deep enough or wide enough apart or whatever, but it's really hard to grip this pen. So this, when I ordered it, I was really disappointed. And in case you guys are wondering, I have not ordered that flex nib pen that I was looking at the other day. I have not ordered it. That's not saying it isn't in my wish list. I just have not ordered it. So if you don't have a box of pens like this, you need to get one. Dust it while it's out. And it was funny, the other day over at Kathy and Colleen's, they were talking about cigar box storage. That's what this box is. These are cigar boxes, and I have tons of them. I keep everything in cigar boxes. But this is a cigar box that I got in Mexico, and it had Cuban cigars in it. It might, Jan, elastic band or foamy sleeve or something, it might help, but I just have to say, you know, like when you buy a product and you're looking forward to it coming, and then it comes and you know immediately when you grab it. I knew immediately this pen. I don't even know if I've inked this one up yet. Yeah, see, I haven't even inked it up yet. Immediately I picked it up, I grabbed it and held it like I was going to write with it, and I knew You're not going to like that pen. So I just put it in here. Someday I'll make myself ink it up and use it. You were gifted an entire set of colored bottled inks. What pen would you recommend to experiment with them? A dip pen. Well, are they, Mary, the first question I would ask is, are they formulated for fountain pens? If they're fountain pen inks, that's the thing about inks. There's tons of different kinds of ink. Some of it is formulated for fountain pens, and then some of it, like acrylic inks and stuff like that, you don't ever want to put into a fountain pen. You'll ruin your fountain pens. So if I was you and I wasn't sure what kind of ink I had been gifted, I would do a dip pen for sure. And to me, the one I just showed, and there's tons of different handles that you can order. Let me see which one I really like. This one is probably my favorite. And then there's other things you have to watch for too. But this is probably my favorite dip pen handle. Some of them, if you look in here, there's different size of these openings on the handles. So whatever size you choose, you're going to have to buy nibs that match that, and that's not them. Let me get a small one so you can see a small one too. This one will probably work. Maybe not. All right, the glass one will for sure. I have one or two of those handles. Anyway, then you can get any kind of nib. So that would be the advantage to getting a dip pen, Mary, because you can get so many different nibs to work with the ink, where if you buy a pen set or an individual pen, you're stuck with the one nib. So with a dip pen, you can get a myriad of nibs to go in them. But the size of this part of the pen is really important. So that's the only thing you have to watch. And these need to be oiled. And then the smaller pens, you can see, this one may not want to come out. Because I always use the same. Anyway, the diameter of these nibs are smaller. And then there's different holders for them. You can see how small they come. See? And you can use it with this holder. I mean, it works. The curvature is the same. But it's almost like the pen itself is too big for that nib. So they make smaller handles for these smaller nibs. Does that make sense? Or did I just totally confuse you worse? And I think it was Queen Pam who made one of these nib holders for Dee Dee years and years ago. And I thought it was freaking ingenious. She used a corrugated box and cut it to size and then decorated it, and it's so perfect for your nibs. They just slide right in and out, and the size of the corrugate holds them perfectly. So Stampers has calligraphy paper. Encourage, encourage. I have so much paper, Lady Jan. Oh my God. So much paper. So yeah, I would get I would get a dip pen, Mary. I really would. Because you'll just have so many more options. So those are dip pens, and those are dip nibs. And these will last, like these are pretty well worn, but I probably had these 30 years or longer. I'm going to say 30 years. And these are not as cheap as they used to be. All right, so that's that. I don't mind using, depending on what I'm doing, I don't mind using stamps for lettering as well. Like if you've shopped at Michael's for years, for a long time, they sold these little boxes, and I still have not bought any of the ammo boxes to keep it in, but these little sets of alphabets for $1. Thanks so much. That's perfect. I'm excited to play with it, but do not have a pen. Yeah, just Mary, get yourself a good pen. I would look because I would go to an art store if there was one nearby. I don't have an art store available, so I would have to order it online. First place I would look is either Jet Pens or Goulet. Goulet has great pens too. And get yourself a really pretty one. Don't buy a piece of crap. So anyway, this is another way you can do lettering, is just rubber stamps. And believe me, I have a ton of them. I've been to Banff, Jan. Jasper and Banff. But anyway, for calligraphy, in my opinion, and Dee Dee could tell you more if she doesn't agree, but for a selection of alphabets, this is probably my favorite book. It gives you all the different alphabets. It gives you each stroke that you have to make, ideas for using them. I just think it's such a basic, good book. I mean, you almost can't improve on this one. It'll give you all the alphabets. I'm sure it's still reasonably priced. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and I probably used a coupon on it for 14 bucks. So I probably got it for 10 bucks or less. And I'm not sure why I felt like I needed to get the updated version. It's the same alphabets for the most part. I think this one has more, but same alphabets as in all the others. But I mean, I think it's so cool that with just a little bit of practice, you could learn to draw that alphabet. I may try some of that today. We'll put a little bookmark on there. So I'll just flip through so you can see. There's an advertisement for Speedball lettering pens. And Speedball's been around forever and ever and ever. It's older than me and Dee Dee. And that's damn old. Another good thing about if you're going to order from Jet or Goulet pens, you can talk to their customer service. So don't buy something unknown. If you have questions about their product, either send them an email or give them a call or something. They're so good. And they have a lot of videos on the internet. I wondered if I was going to get a reaction, Dee Dee, about us being damn old. And I just bought a new oblique handle. Don't even know if I've used it yet. But anyway, for a calligraphy book, in my opinion, save your money and get this one. It's the best. And then some of my favorite, because I like whimsical lettering an awful lot. and probably one of the best books for whimsical lettering, or just lettering overall. I mean, she's kind of the gold standard, maybe, is Joanne Sharp, The Art of Whimsical Lettering. And I've probably looked through this book and done different lettering out of this book 1,000 times. This is one book that I feel like I have totally got my money's worth. I love her style. My style is not her style, but you can certainly get inspiration from somebody like this, for sure. I think one of the things I just love in particular about her art is always so colorful. And I like to do colorful. So I'll just flip through here. There used to be gobs and gobs of videos on writing like Joanne Sharp, too. I tend to be more meticulous, you know, like doing messy lettering is really hard for me. Like I have to work at that because I want it meticulous. And if you want to come back, you can always stop any of these pages after the video goes up. I like this idea, doing a hand cut of lettering. I like that whole idea a lot. And repeating it, I just love that. Magic markers are great for thick and thin. And when I start lettering, I'm just going to wing it. Now, I like that idea, too. Writing your handwriting right on top of a book page, that's kind of a cool idea. And I wish I'd quit getting notifications over the chat. So do you guys do much lettering? Is it something you're even interested in? I love lettering, so I would watch a lettering show over and over and over again. But this is any book by Joanne Sharp, definitely, you'll get your money's worth. And then I'm going to show some books that are really old that I don't think you can get anymore, but I'm pretty sure Dee Dee has these as well. Maybe not this top one that I'm going to show you, because it's just kind of fun lettering, how to draw lettering. I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of this little book, too. Don't even know where I got it. But it gives you a bunch of different alphabets. And this one is specific to how to do kind of layouts. Cat and Paste loves lettering. Okay, good. So at least one person in the audience is happy. The rest of you, go get some lunch. But I think a lot of people don't think of lettering as drawing, when in fact you can draw letters, just like this up here where you actually draw it. And I did on that some of that stuff that I did yesterday. I was actually drawing the lettering rather than tracing it. You know, you can always trace anything. I don't think of tracing as cheating at all. My handwriting, when I use the lettering guide, and I'll show you those in a minute, tends to be comic book lettering. Just very block lettering. I would like to be able to do it well enough for my cards. See, I think that's a good goal, Nancy. Doing shading using 1-point perspective. I've done that a lot. Using a grid to make kind of like cross-stitch lettering. My pocket money is what? My pocket money is 2 days late. Pay up, please. And then there, she talks about some materials down here. So, and I think I've pretty much shown you the materials, other than when I just write, you guys have seen me pull out lettering guides. These are just like the best thing in the world. You can order these, but they're pretty pricey. I've actually made some of my own. This is just clear acetate packaging, and you can do the size of the opening as big or as little as you want. But getting a small guide, when I was in school, we used these eraser shields to do the smaller lettering. That's about 5-point type, that opening right there. And you could get different sizes of these. So these, to me, are just so much easier. So go ahead and cut your own lettering guide if it's something you want to do, because you'll get, I don't want to say perfect lettering, but close to perfect lettering. I'll give you an example. Like the base letter for this Tinker Toy lettering, that was done with a lettering guide. This was done with a lettering guide. The rest of them I just drew. But these, you'll get the same size every time. So Nancy, when you're going to put lettering on your cards or whatever, get a lettering guide. Grab a pen, any old stupid pen, and I'll show you the most basic, easiest. It's not going to look like machine lettering, but you can make it as, I'll just put happy on there. Pull you guys down. I forget to do that. Use double lines on one side of it. And I do this on Happy Mail that I send out all the time. And just use 2 or 3, whatever, or even just 1. That's really simple lettering that you can make look nice enough for any card. Writing this down so far. Janet's Gems, words of wisdom. Buy pretty, don't buy crap. Go get lunch. Does the grid give the same space between each letter? That's hard for me, the spacing. You know, I think the spacing between the letters, see, I do mine really close together where they almost touch, and some of them do. You kind of get a feel for that as you do it. So work with the guide, and pretty soon that just becomes second nature. I think it's like anything. You do it a few times and you'd be shocked that it just becomes second nature. But just block lettering like that. Okay, and for those of you that don't know, and I'm sure most of you do by now, lettering is either serif or sans serif. And serif means that it has those little things hanging off, decorative edges. Let me see if they have it in here. I'm sure they do. When I want to find it, I can't find it. Okay. This would be serif, where the M has the horizontal lines on it, where this M is sans serif. Sans meaning it doesn't have the decorative edges. So that's a choice you have. You can make yours either way. Hi, Quilt Tea. Anybody else I might have missed? So those are design features that you get to decide when you're doing your own. I like serif lettering, so not uncommonly I will put the little curlies on the edges. And then these books, and then I'll be done with books, and I'm sure Dee Dee has these. These were available at most of the hobby stores, and I won't go through all of them, but these little brochure books like this, these are so well done, and they're so inspirational and give you so many ideas. Now these, I hope they're still available if you would want one, but they give you tons and tons of different ideas, because the funny thing about lettering is the choice of your colors or the style of lettering that you choose can have as much impact on the feel of your finished art as maybe the image that you've chosen. And I'll show you an example of that. This lettering right here, like it looks like it's melting. That is great at Halloween. So if you made a Halloween card and just did block lettering and added the drools or the drips, it definitely, and I'll show you guys how to do that, it's so easy. Whether you write skinny or whether you write fat, there's just so many different things that can alter the mood of what you're working on. So just when you're working on something, just think about, and this page made me think about it, you know, like Fiesta. You know, for Fiesta, you would obviously use bright, colorful things. Cactus, not so much. So your colors, your color choice, and your choice of lettering can really impact the feel of your finished product. Years ago, I started writing a book that could have become probably one of these books, because I looked at a lot of people who are stamping, sending cards, or just doing art. It was almost like they didn't finish it. So those are the kind of things. The colors you use can change how you feel about something. You know, warm colors, cold colors, bright, muted. All those things can impact. I love this kind of longhand too. And look how they've used it. And any one of you are able to do any of that. So if you need ideas in the future, come back to this video, you'll find it. I don't know if these came out in series or what, but anyway, they were all pretty much lettering. And I think these came out as much for scrapbooking as anything else. There it is, the melting lettering for Halloween. I mean, I didn't make any of this stuff up. I don't know that you could. It's all out there somewhere. It's just a matter, and that's why I started putting this together, putting the stuff that I like in one place. Because if I'm sitting on the couch doing something, I don't remember where I saw something. Swoopies. Little doodles. I love to doodle. Love me some doodling. And the cool thing about lettering is you can use all the supplies. I can't think of one of the supplies that I have that I could not incorporate into a lettering project. See, I obviously used this one for something at some point. I don't necessarily want to keep all those borders, but there might be a few. That's not melting, it's dripping blood. Well, there's that too. If you do it in red, it's definitely going to look like dripping blood. You have to learn that to draw my face. It's melting! I think looking through these kind of books are inspirational. It makes you think kind of outside the box. Like, who would think to make an eye out of an apple core? It's just a cute idea. Will I ever do it? Hell, I don't know. But again, if you do the block lettering, you know, then you can fill it with polka dots. I love Tinker Toy. Candy cane. That's really cute. All right, almost done here. This is the last book. Okay, this is some of the lettering that I obviously have done in the past for Ashley and Zachary. I probably, one point in my life, looked hours for that. No, I'm sure I didn't. I like stitch lettering too. I'm going to put my finger there because that's probably the first one I'll do. But yeah, these books just give you some really basic ideas. I think we all kind of get in a rut. I know I do. When it comes to doing the same thing over and over. So we'll come up with a new page here. So this is the things I would recommend. Definitely a lettering guide. Make your own. You don't need anything fancy. Just get some acetate packaging that's kind of thick. And cut it the size you want. If it's something you're even interested in doing. I'm a little anal that way, so yeah. And then another thing, and I've had these for years and years and years, are tons and tons of stencils. You can get lettering stencils in every face, every size imaginable. But the thing is, one, you have to store them, you have to be able to find them, you have to have so many of them for all the different types of art face. This one has Janet Halverson written on it. That means I've had this for probably 50 years. They used to be made out of this paper stuff. Now they're smart. They make them out of plastic, so they hold up a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, for a lot of your lettering, just use a stencil. Like these at Hobby Lobby are dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. So a lot of times I think, don't try and reinvent the wheel. Like, use the tools that are available to you. For small stencils, I got a ton of them in that pack like Dee Dee showed last week. Taking a break from cleaning up craft storage. I'm just doing lettering today. I'm just going to pick something out of a book and do it just to play. Or if you guys have suggestions what you want to learn. If you want to learn about layout, I'd need to get a blank piece of paper, but I would do that. How to decide where your lettering is going to go, what size it needs to be, any of that. I'm just looking through this book to see if there's anything that I want to in particular do. Let's do the shadow lettering. Show you guys how to do that. In fact, I'll get a stencil out to do that. I want to learn it all. Yeah, see, that's me too. Here's a good stencil. It just opened up to that very same page, so I'll just start on this page. Okay, and I don't know if you guys knew this about stencils. A lot of the old stencils, for talking about spacing in between, these little dots that were on here, those were put there so that if you wanted an O next to the M, you lined up your dots and your, it's called kerning, would be accurate. I don't know if you guys knew that those little dots on there, they were there for a reason. You want to learn about layout? Okay. I don't think the newer stencils are doing that because people didn't realize that those dots were on there to help you with spacing. Hi, Joyce Vaughn. Okay, and when you're using a stencil, they have to cut them out like they do so that the stencil will stay together. But this is actually designed for you to finish the letter. I mean, you can use it and make it look like stencil lettering, but if you want it to look like that M that I showed, finish it off. In fact, I'll do it in ink. I'll use a... Now my plastic nib one won't be around here. There it is. And I'm using Micron so that if I paint it or whatever, I know I'm using permanent ink. And the cool thing is you get to use a ruler too. Doesn't get much better than that. But if you use those stencils and correct your letters, it'll look like a professional sign. Okay, so there's the M. Okay, somewhere out here, if we want to add this, the shading, couldn't think of that word. Draw yourself, I'm just going to use that top line out there, and I'll just draw a dot anywhere. It doesn't matter. Because if I was going to do a bunch of letters across here, they would all shade to that point, wherever your vanishing point is, right? So from every corner, draw a line to that dot. And it's going to look weird, but your brain will like it. Have you seen the UPS guy?
Have I?
Yeah, because he's bringing me stuff, and I was hoping he would be here before I ended streaming.
Nope. Haven't seen hide nor hair of him.
Damn it.
I'll be watching for him. Well, I got to go to Donnie's here in a little bit.
Got to feed the cows. He can't figure out how to feed his own cows.
Yeah, put the heater back in the well house. No, well,
Okay, good.
fix the fence.
Okay. He said, "Hi, Robert. It's too bad you're such a big loser."
Who said that?
Dee Dee, I wish she wouldn't talk to you that way.
Yeah, I wish she wouldn't either. Tell her I still like her anyway.
He loves Dee Dee. What you getting, Janet? I'm going to tell you in a minute, Dar. The vanishing point can be wherever you want it, Teresa. You just pick a point. Dee Dee's screaming, I didn't say that. She's lying, Robert. It's right here in type. You could read it. Your vanishing point can be wherever you want it. You could do it on this side, and then your shadows are going to go that way. So you can choose your vanishing point anywhere you want. But just each corner of your letter, and I'm just doing this like it's standing, but each corner of your letter goes to that. Correct that lie, Janet. He knows I'm full of crap, Dee Dee. Don't you worry about it. If I didn't do that to him, he wouldn't, he just wouldn't get it. Okay, and do I have a gray? But yeah, your vanishing point, it can be really anywhere you decide. I could have put it all the way over here so that my, well, I'll just do that real quick. I'll put it way over and you'll see how it will change. But that's true of anything. If you're drawing even a road, let's just say a road, and you know that the horizon's out there, your vanishing point is there. Just draw, and this is, you learn this in perspective drawing, okay? And then the sections get smaller as it goes away. That's all that is. It's the same effect as when you're driving down the road and you can't see the end of the road. That's all that is. Hi, Sherry Ann. I'm supposed to be nice to Dee Dee. I'm mostly nice to Dee Dee. Dee Dee needs somebody to jerk her around a little bit. Everybody's far too nice to Dee Dee. But I'll just go ahead and use this over here as your vanishing point. It's just how you want your lettering to look is all it is. This is also how you draw buildings and everything else. Anything that looks like it's going away from you. And up here, I'm just going to have to make up because it's just too small. Didn't I get the... Oh, I did get the gray pen out. So you'll see what your brain does with this. Because it's really a trick of your brain is all this is. That M is not actually casting a shadow, but your brain's going to think it is. Hey, Robert?
Yes.
Dee Dee didn't say that. Because what she said was really a whole lot worse. Eileen is not nice to Dee Dee. I know that. Because see out here, the M would be like that. But can you see how you just cast the shadow wherever you want it? And then you try and correct your lines, and it doesn't work so well. But see how your brain just fills in the blanks? She's dialing Robert. If Dee Dee had your phone number right now, she would be calling you. She would be telling on me, Robert.
Telling on you?
Yeah. She would tell you some crap like, I didn't say that. That's what the lie she would tell you if she called you.
Yeah. Don't worry, Dee Dee, I still love you.
Okay, now I'm going to do that same M. Only this time I'm just going to give it, just a shadow around. And I'm not going to take the time to, what do I do with my pen? To get the ruler out. But if you want it to look perfect, get the ruler out. Okay? Even if I'm sitting here playing by myself, I would still get the ruler out. You know what I mean? Did Wendy come in? Hi, Wendy. That's not bad for just doing it by hand, right? And if you want to keep your angles the same, say you just want to create 3 dimensions on this, you would still use a vanishing point, but do it somewhere in the middle of the letter. Your vanishing point can actually be anywhere, but normally if I'm doing a letter where I just want to create that it's 3-dimensional, I generally put the vanishing point about in the middle of the letter so I get the angles right? But you can, again, you can do it any way you want. Because the lines aren't going to end up all the way, you know, at the vanishing point. I'm going to cut them off. This one I'm not sure, but we're going to try it anyway. And every corner has to get it. That one I don't have to because I don't need it. In fact, I'm not going to need it for that either. And then parallel to your uprights, come up with a measurement. I'm just going to use the width of that measurement right there. Cut it off. I think Robert's being a mad scientist right now. He's playing with the breaker box, which means something's either going to explode here pretty soon or something's getting fixed. I'm never really quite sure. I just wait to see what happens. I should have picked a lighter gray, but you see how that's going to work? All you're doing is tricking your brain. Always a surprise is most of the time a good thing. Yeah, with Robert, he's really, really handy. Sister with a ruler in hand. Yep. So that's how you can create dimension in your lettering. And it works best with block letters, you know, if you give them some bulk. But even if you're, let me get out one of those other pens. I do this a lot. The problem I have is I hide my tools from myself all the time. Actually, I want a broader nib than this. Just do that. And this way you can use your brush pens more too. Let's pick a good fun color. We'll pick a bright one. Just to create that same sort of dimension, just go on one side of your letter. And then you've got to decide this one, because I started like that, I would put the shadow at the bottom side of it. So that's really easy to do. I mean, you can do that like easy. But if you want it, if you're using it to make it look more realistic, do the vanishing point lettering. Us two, maybe we should sit on them. What? All right, and then for layout, okay, I need a blank sheet of paper for layout. Well, here's some dot grid paper. I'll just use it because it'll actually help. Yeah, you can see I sit and do this crap all the time. I'm going to do this one so you can see the whole layout aspect of it. But generally, if I'm going to do a layout that has caps and lowercase, whether it's regular block lettering or whether it's cursive lettering, you're going to need the same baselines, ascender, descender lines, right? So if you figure out your space, let's just say in your piece of art, and I'll grab that one that I did the other day to show you kind of how I started figuring out where I wanted the, this one was easy because I had a whole blank sheet. So I just figured, okay, Winnie the Pooh had ended up, whatever the measurement is, about 1.5 inches in on this side. I wanted to make sure that from the binding over was about 1.5 inches so that everything would be balanced kind of in the center. And then I had written it out with the same cursive writing that I was going to use to measure it out. And then that's what I decided, so that it ended just slightly above this B, didn't go into that B, and up. And it just so happened that I'm a little bit higher on the lettering up here, which means I could have reduced the size of my lettering as I have between the lettering here and his the bottom of Winnie the Pooh. So you want it to be aesthetically pleasing, and you just got to work. Like this one, I did the artwork first. Sometimes you might plan the lettering first. I don't recommend sitting on scissors. I would recommend that as well, Artie Dar, as well as X-Acto knives. Don't put your X-Acto knife on your chair. And then this one, I hadn't even thought about what I was going to put in there or how much there was going to be or how big it could be, whatever. Because I did the painting first, right? And then I found the quote, and then I had to figure out what size the lettering needed to be. But when you're deciding that, This one is pretty easy. The painting was already done, so I knew I had from the low point here to the high point here and here to here. Try and leave the same amount of space either side, or put it all on one side or the other. I normally would never recommend doing anything right in the center like this, but this layout tended to work. So this one, I just used the space that I had available in there and then wrote it to fit. And then here I had to get a little bit smaller because, yeah. But that's going to happen. It's easier if you do it on a computer. But the very things you need is a baseline. This right here, the bottom of all these letters, is the baseline. So then figure out your baseline, okay? How big you want your lettering. If you want your overall lettering from the top of the ascender to the bottom of the descender, that is the most space you're going to use for any one line. Does that ruler gizmo? Oh, this ruler gizmo? This is just a lettering guide. But if it was up to me now, because I think last I looked, these were like 17 bucks or something. So I would just cut my own, because I don't use these big lettering almost never. I use the smallest one or these, because I'm usually writing in a journal or something. But yeah, this is just a large lettering aid by Rapid Design. But you can get them all different kinds. Like this, I think this was one of my first one, was the freehand letter liner. But then I think somebody used it to cut, and it's got little nicks in it. So I don't like this one as much anymore. But the little dots here are cool because they give you line width. But I'm just telling you how to do it yourself and make it easy. So if you want your lowercase letters like this, I figured out, oh, they could probably be about a 1/2 inch. So at a 1/2 inch, roughly, I'm not going to make it this one, I'll do 3/8 inch. Okay, that's going to be how tall your lowercase letters are. And give yourself a guide. And this one, I did the capitalized letter much bigger. But those are design elements that you get to choose. But normally it would just be a little bit higher. And that's going to be, the top line is called the ascending, because those are the ascenders, the letters that go higher than your lowercase alphabet. Your D's, your B's, your L's, H. So that's going to be how high the ascending letters. And then below, again, another design element, I generally do as much space as I've done above for the ascending letters, I do below for the descending. And those are going to be your Y's, your G's, your P's, those letters, your Q's. So in that case, I would do 3/8 down here. And that's going to be very uniform. But there's no law about any of this anymore. Used to be there kind of was for layout, but now I see crazy stuff. So like on that one, I'll just go ahead and write that same quote that I wrote. Where is my... I'll get out the touch pen. Okay, so the dark line in the center is what I decided is my baseline. Okay? I need to watch my P's and Q's, right, Dee Dee? Okay? So I knew I wanted my Y to be quite bigger. And there's my ascending line up there. Did I do that right? No. I'm 1/8 of an inch short. I was going to say that didn't look right. That's right. I'm thinking right. And just draw them in lightly for yourself. They don't have to be perfect, but okay, so my initial letter is going to start up here, and I'll do brush lettering. And you will like your own handwriting if you slow down. And with brush lettering, you almost have to think. So now this, when I have a V and an E, I generally do it different. I go ahead and start my E and do it like I did the others. And then come back and connect it. Is that a felt tip pen? No, this is a plastic nib touch pen. I think it's called Fude Touch, but I'm not sure. But it's a plastic nib, so and I didn't have any descenders. Well, I'll just go ahead and draw new lines. And I'm using the grids on here to come up with about the same spacing. But just before you start, make sure you have an idea of how far up you're going to go with your ascending letters and how far you're going to go down with your descending. And then you won't get overlap. Now this Y, because I did it so big, I'm going to have to move the whole thing over a little bit just to give it space, right? You are never... Now, if I start this here, my ascenders are going to go all the way up to there. So I would space this out different, but I'm just going to do it here so you can see. Okay, and on the L's, I do it different too. Well, I'll just do it like they say. T's are a funny letter because they go above where your lowercase stops, but they don't go all the way up to your ascenders. So there are some few weird exceptions to lettering. Oh, T is one of them. And I kind of think that that is true of most alphabets that I can think of. You are never too old, and I just goofed up because I wasn't paying attention. Never heard of a plastic nib? These are awesome. My very favorite, in fact, I just ordered a bunch of them. Well, not just, because I didn't order them last month, is the plastic nib Micron. It's really cool too because you can get really, really fine lines with it, but you can also get thicker lines. This one's out of ink almost. I got to get a new one. But the plastic nib Microns, if you ever see those, they're awesome. So that's how you start planning your layout. Figure out your left and right borders, how wide your line is going to be, how big you want your lettering, plan where your ascenders are going to be, where your descenders are going to be, and I'll just draw a descender here so you can see it. I was going to say, you keep that up and I'm going to kick your ass. All right, love you, see you, bye.
Bye.
That's, okay. The ascenders go all the way up there, your descenders, but plan those. Don't just let them happen. And the reason is because when you're all done, if all of your ascenders stop at one uniform place and all your descenders stop at one uniform place, it's just going to be so much more aesthetically pleasing. Your microns are, well, see, CB, that's why I'm hoping UPS comes, because I got sick and tired of the microns running out of ink. Practice the pressure on the pen, yes. Yep. Artie Dar, where's that little book? Because I had, like for brush lettering, the basic strokes are somewhere in my book. And after you get them memorized, they're pretty easy. But basically for brush lettering, and I'm going to finish what I'm going to tell you here in a minute, CB. I'm really hoping they come. These are the basic strokes. And so you practice the light touch going up away from you. And like on these, the ones going down, and then releasing the pressure to go up. Same with the hump going the other way. Pressure on the downstroke. And then they have you start doing the two together. And if you, as you start doing that, you do get pretty darn good at it. O is always a good letter to practice no matter what. Descending letters, so you kind of know when to start letting up the pressure. And that stroke is good for B's, H, now see, I should have eased up right in there. K. I do my D's different. I don't know how I started doing this because it's not how I make my D's in real life. But I draw the circular part of it first, and then I start up here with a light stroke and then the D coming down. I just ended up liking the way the loop looked on the outside, because normally I would make my D like, I would just go up like that. But I found that if I do it like that and put the loop out here, to me, it just ends up looking better. And slow down. But anyway, CB, and I've known about these pens for a long time, but I had microns, I liked microns, so I just had kind of always stuck with the micron pens. But I agree with you. Yeah, I either crush the nibs, but the plastic nib you can't crush. So that was my next choice. I like the plastic nib microns, and I love that they're waterproof. That's the best thing about a micron. But like the 1-point nib or whatever, like look at this 2-point nib. I've absolutely ruined that bad boy. I couldn't use that for calligraphy if my life depended on it right now. Let me see. Like, I can't make a narrow line with this pen anymore. It's still got ample ink, so I use it to color in. So I ordered myself a Copic 1-point nib, 0.01, where you can buy replaceable nibs. You just got to fit them in there, and ink cartridges with waterproof ink. So if he comes today, I'll go ahead and show it. But if he doesn't, I'll be showing you that next week. Can you add alcohol to your markers to extend them? No, these are all water-based pens, so no, you can't really extend the life of them. You can add water, like for the Crayola Super Tips, when they dry out, you can add water to those. Those nibs just yank right out. So you can make a lighter version of that pen, but you're not going to have as much pigment. And the thing I like about Micron, and this is my only question about the Copic that's coming, but Copics are such good products that I have to believe that I'm going to like the ink. The thing that always kept me coming back to the Micron is the black ink is absolutely black. It's black. It's never gray. It's just they're excellent pens. The only problem is you wear out too quick. And I use them a lot, so I mean, I don't know, if you don't use it as much, I guess it's going to last a lot longer. But if you use it, yeah, like I either crush the nib or run out of ink. Like I buy these 3 or 4 at a time. That gets pricey. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll tell you about the Copic when I get it and use it. And on alcohol markers, I suppose you could add alcohol to your markers. I would use at least 70% and probably 90% for the alcohol markers. But yeah, that's up to you. These, when they run out, just buy a new one. These are pretty cheap because you don't use them that often. These that you use all the time, yeah, that gets really, really pricey. All right, so now I've done kind of layout. I hope that answered your questions and gave you some of the basic strokes for brush lettering. Brush lettering is actually pretty darn easy if you practice the strokes and use it, and you can always make your writing look nice. One thing I think is my cursive writing, the older I'm getting, is a lot messier, right? Okay, let's do a decorative letter just because we can. Because I've got about an hour left. In fact, I'm going to say if I have, I'm going to say I'll do one and give it away. Let me see if I have some cotton fiber paper here. I know I do, it's just whether or not I can find it quickly. I'm going to say I'll do one and give it away. I'll just use cardstock. We'll see how well watercolor is going to work on cardstock. I have the biggest mess here. Yeah, it looked like the edges of that paper was dirty. I say, how could it get dirty in the package? All right, indulge me while I find a ruler. Arlene would be screaming at me. I will tell you about the Copic pen. I was really hoping UPS would be early today. And I did go ahead and order some more bee paper. Laugh out loud ruler. I know. But I'm actually going to do this like the size of a card, Dee Dee. So whoever I send it to can actually use it as a card if they want. Because I'm nice that way, Dee Dee. I know you and Robert don't think so, but I'm here to tell you. That was a score that I just did. Don't be like me. Just saying as usual, can I have it? Artie Dar, you can have it. Do you want, you tell me the letter that you want. And of those of you who are new to Artie Dar used to stream for us over on Ustream. She's an unbelievably good artist. But when she would attend other streams, the very first thing Artie Dar would always say is, can I have it? Can I have it? This time, Dar, it worked in your favor. You tell me the letter you want, and I will do my best to draw it. Janet living in her alternate universe where she is nice. Someone close the portal. That's funny. You want a D. All right, let's figure out. Okay, I'll show you quickly. I'm going to do just a real basic design here. But hopefully when I'm done, it will look nice, and Artie Dar will be happy to have it. Dar, I'm going to need your new address. For one thing, I'll put my email in the chat because you have moved since I have your address. There's my email address. Send your address to that address so I can get it off in the mail to you. Now I really wish those pens were here. You said you wanted a D. Okay, I'm going to do a border here. And that right there is why I like the micron pens. You always get a consistent line. It's always nice. It's always dark. So I will tell you about the Copics. Now the Copics, I bought the 01 nib. So that's pretty small. I don't know how long it's been since I pulled out, oh, you're home at Cape May? Okay, well, I have that address then. No worries there. Okay, now, if you were going to do this for somebody, there's a couple different ways you could do it. If you wanted, you could just use a stencil of a capital D or whatever. I'm going to do my best just to draw a D. I don't necessarily want it to be real huge, but and I will use rulers because I don't trust that my lines are going to be straight. I do have multiple sets of rapidograph pens. I used rapidograph pens most of my life doing layout and design. Okay, I'm going to leave a 1/2 inch at the top, a 1/2 inch at the bottom of white space. Same left and right. Right? Do I want that much? Yeah, I do. Okay. Now, this is when I use the lettering guides to just keep my spacing. I know I want that 1/2 inch. So I'm going to move in a little bit so I can put the serifs in, because I'm just going to draw this by hand, and then I'm using the other lines on the lettering guide to decide. Okay, so that I'll move in about a little over 1/8 of an inch. I want the upright of the D. Yeah, this is a pretty big square, so we can go for a full 1/4 inch. And then I'll ink this later. After I get the basic idea in pencil, I'll ink it later. Okay, so I kind of got my parameters now of where the D is going to be. And it is going to be serif, so I'll just go ahead and draw that in first. And then the width of the letter is entirely up to you, really. I'm going to give myself my line over here. And this one, I don't even care if it's straight, because it's just telling me how far I have to go over with that curve, okay? So this is the top of my letter. The first lines are pretty easy, and Dar actually picked me out a pretty easy letter. A D is a pretty easy letter to draw by hand. Now if I was going to be really precise, I would measure these in here, but I think I can eyeball it pretty darn good. And at this point, I have to decide, do I want a real thick letter or do I want a kind of thin letter? I'm going to do it thin because I'm going to decorate it. See, on this side, I left a 1/4 of an inch. The fatness on the D, I'm going to leave maybe a little bit over 1/4 inch on this side, because I'm going to narrow it on the straightaway so that it matches the serif. Got it? And I'll straighten these lines later when I ink. And hand-drawn lettering is never perfect, but that's part of the deal, is trying to get it as close as you can, right? Okay. Can you see that now? Now, if you wanted to stylize this, this is the point at which you would do it. Say I wanted that part of the D fatter or whatever. This is the point that you could start stylizing after you've kind of got the bones of the letter drawn. And as I'm looking at this, I'm liking it. I think I got those two are about the same width. I've got plenty of room in here to draw and decorate. I think I'm going with it. And I'm going to do this. At this point, I could also decide if I want to do this in color. I'm going to do the D itself in black. And then the design behind it will be in color. How about that? You like that? I like that. I don't ever use this ruler for measuring. I only use it for straight edge. I don't have a huge amount of time, so I'm going to move right out here. And the only thing I would recommend is if you're doing stuff like this, just slow down. And because this is going to be filled in black, if I have a little bit of error, I still have a chance to fix it here in a minute, right? But just for the D itself, that's not bad. I'm okay with that. Another beauty about microns is they dry really, really quickly. So I can go ahead and erase at this point and not have to worry about smudging. I mean, I'm going to be a little bit careful until I'm certain, but most of the time your microns dry so quickly you don't have to worry about smudges. I can already see a couple of little cleanups that I'm going to have to do. But no worries. All right, now I'm just going to quickly, because I don't have a huge amount of time, I'm just going to draw some flowers. And you guys may not be able to see them, but I'm going to watercolor real quick. So, and I'm not using watercolor paper, so yeah. This is really quick, so. And then the art on the inside, and I know I got really quiet there. You just kind of want it balanced. All right, I'm going to do a quick watercolor here. Which ones do I want to use? Well, you know what I think I'm going to use? And most of you guys are going to have these, and I'm doing it just because it's easy and there's lots of colors and there won't be a lot of cleanup. I'm going to turn the Crayola Super Tips into watercolor. How about that? You like that? Yep, it's flowers, Dar. Do you have a color that you want for the flowers? I was going to do them purple, but you decide what color you want, because I don't care. I can do pink, purple, red, blue. I don't care. What color do I want the leaves? And I commonly do this when I'm doing quick watercolors, because it's easy cleanup. Like, you're in and out really quick. Waiting for Artie Dar to... Hey, look at what I found in here. I have some more brush pens. Yay, me. Any pinks and blues. Okay. Do I want to do pink or blue? Pink or blue? I think I'd rather have blue, Artie Dar. I like that blue. And now that's one thing. These blues don't have a lot. Oh, no, I like this blue. Never mind. I picked the blue. Okay, I got yellow. I got green. I think we're good. If I need more, I'll get some more out. And with these, I just use a water brush. Just something really, really simple. I get my erasers out of the way so I don't have them all over everything. Okay, let's do the yellow first. I just use this cleanup mat. It's probably a dangerous thing to do because if I move this into that, then I've got paint on the back here, but I'm going to do my damnedest not to do that. Right? And I always have a napkin nearby. I don't know how this watercolor is going to do on this paper, so we'll just have to wait and see. And you can do this on any porous surface. So there's my 3 colors of green that I'm going to work with. See which one I like. I like this one best. We'll see how the water's going to do. Can you guys see okay? So this could be an idea for a really quick card for, you know, somebody for their birthday, for a thank you, for whatever. And with a water brush and some super tip markers, you are on the way. I haven't decided if I'm gonna do ink on this and make it more sketchy. I'll see when it's done if I think it would look good. Alright, I think I'm going to use this dusty kind of blue for the main flower. We'll see. Let's see how dark it is. And I'm testing this on an envelope over here. Oh, that's a pretty blue. Okay, that's the one we're using. It's very dusty looking. And because I don't use these in big paintings, usually it's something really small, I'll have to experiment to get the shade color for this. But I think I know how I can do it really good. But when I'm done here, this card will probably take 30 minutes or less, so no excuse. Get on it and get it done. And the paper is actually just regular old cardstock, so it's not even any special paper. It's not watercolor paper. Yeah, there's just nothing special about any of this. I'll let that dry first. I really like that color blue. Glad you picked blue, Dar. This paper is kind of holding up better than I might have hoped too, so that's kind of cool. And don't dismay yet. I will get some shading and stuff in there. Right now I'm just getting kind of the lightest base coat down. Every time I hear a car go by, I'm thinking, oh, maybe that's UPS guy. Now this I want kind of dark because it's a bud. So I may have to go over it 3 or 4 times. Same here. All right. I'm liking that. Hi, Secret Squirrel. Is Secret Squirrel Amy? Amy spelled different? All right. I'm going to let those flowers dry real quick. I'll go in with some darker yellow in the center of that flower. I just want a little bit for there at the base. I'm telling you, you guys, use your super tips for watercolors. On something like this, they work awesome. I probably will ink the edges of this. I think it will look good. Very lightly. I'll use that 3-point nib pen. At some point during the process, you kind of get a feel for it. And I think with this one, yeah, it's going to work out well. I like that dark green too. It's kind of got some blue in it. Looks really good. You guys are really quiet. Are you bored to death, or are you enthralled with the majesty of it all? All right, well, that's drying. There's nothing that's really, really wet. This line here is bugging the hell out of me. I'm hoping that I can use the same color, and by going over it multiple times, I'll be able to get some shadow. We'll see. If it doesn't work, we'll try plan B, which we'll make up as we go along. Now I've obliterated my pencil line, so I'm going to have to make it up as I go along, which is cool. We can do that. Let me see if I go over this lightly. I hope this isn't a mistake. But I'm going to draw the lines on these very, very lightly. I'm actually pretty pleased with the way the this cardstock is taking this water. I really am. Really pleased. Now I'll hold this up here in just a second so you guys can see. Just because I want some very I could just as easily done the stems of these with a pen as well. So, which one was it? It's this one, I'm pretty sure. Okay. I'm going to clean up some of these lines real quick. All right, let me get out the black pen. Guess my, oh, there's the top. I was going to say, I guess my water brush just won't have a top anymore until I get done cleaning up. All right, let's put that D in black. This micron is almost out of ink too, but let's just see how far we can go with it. The reason I didn't color the D in first, I might have in the end wanted, say, that stem to go over the D rather than under the D, and after you've colored it in, it becomes much, much harder to do. So that's why I do stuff like this at the very end. Pen's doing better than I thought. So now you guys know what I'll be doing the rest of the evening. I will be still drawing letters because I don't know why I've become obsessed for the time being. I'm going to straighten my line here. I'm sure some of you think I'm an absolute nut. using a ruler, but it's part of that whole OCD thing that I can't not do. As soon as my brain sees that line as crooked, I could sit here and tie my hands down and I would still get out the ruler. Not kidding you. And I've learned it's just easier and more comfortable to give into it. Just do it. Quit fighting it. And I laugh about it and I joke about it. For me, it's not that big a deal. I know there are some people who really suffer. I do not. It's more just a annoyance for me. So when I talk about OCD, I'm not finding fault or anything. It's just, it's an annoyance for me. But some people, it controls their lives. It doesn't do that for me. And I don't mean to make a joke about it at all. Yeah, something else that would look really good around the edge of this D is a little bit of gold ink or gold paint. You can hear this pen getting really dry. I think it's going to finish this project, but this may be its very last project. I'm eking out every little drop of ink to finish this. Any little touch-up I'll do with this smaller nib. Alright, where is my... Sometimes these pens do not like to write over watercolor. I wasn't sure about the super tip. And it's doing fine with the super tip. So it must be the binder in the watercolor that these pens don't like. And this ink, you're not really going to be able to see it too much. It just kind of cleans up the edge and it makes me feel better, so. There's a little quick painting, an initial. I'll have to read chat now. Thanks, Joan. Did that ever... Yeah, I'm thinking the gold around the D. I'm going to have to think about how I want to do that, but I'm thinking that could be a really, really good idea. Clean up that just a little. So if I can do that in 30 minutes, you can too, right? Right. I do like the dark around it. It makes it pop. Yeah. Another thing, like a double border at this point might look good. There's a lot of things. Or if you did a double border, go ahead and color it in with one of the colors. You know, the blue from the flowers. I do love that blue from the flowers. That came out really a good blue. Blues for flowers are kind of funky. Well, and greens too. There is not a green watercolor that you can buy that to me looks like something you're really going to see in nature, right? Yeah, I think the gold is needed too, CB. Now I just have to decide the best way to do it. If I had more confidence in my... Oh, I know how I'm going to do it. Let's do a little experiment. I want to use the gold watercolor because I really like the gold watercolor, right? Let me get just a piece of scratch paper out. Okay, we're going to do a little experiment. Put that over at the side so I don't get something nasty on it, because that's exactly what I would do. I'd get it all done and then drool on it or something. I'm just getting some of the black ink out here, and I'm going to let it dry while I'm preparing the gold. I'm thinking I want to use the gold Fine Tech paint. Your neighbor had lime green roses. That's weird. I don't think I've ever seen a lime green rose, but I actually have. I know they're hybridizing them now, and I've actually seen a black rose, which I'm pretty certain does not appear naturally in nature anywhere. But they can hybridize almost anything now. Oh, Robert took my water jar and put it in the cupboard like we're going to drink water out of it. Yikes. Okay, this is going to be a little experiment. I mean, I suppose I could, somewhere around here, I have a gold pen, but it's not as pretty as the gold in this Fine Tech set. So, let me get, I'll use the glass dip pen because I do know I like the width of its line. All right, experiment coming up. And I bent the tip of one of my Paul Rubin brushes. I closed it in a tin, and I think it's permanently goofed up. I'm pretty sure it is, and I'm really pissed off about it, in case you're wondering. But that's another complaint that we'll save for another day. Okay, see which gold we want. Silver would also be good, but let's see which of the golds we want. Where is my... This is what it's going to... Okay, it's the Tibet gold. I think that looks really good on the black. See which one is Tibet. Now I don't know. what's on the box. Okay, Tibet Gold is the first one. I was thinking it was the Arabic. I think the Arabic or the Tibet, either one, look really good on the black. So really, with these Fine Tech paints, they're kind of pricey, but honestly, they're so worth it. They do take a while to re-wet, but not enough that I would quit using them. Know what I mean? I don't think I'm going to need this cup, actually. I think I'll just fill the pen with my brush. So don't think that I'm trashing out my good black velvet brush. I already did that. I was so mad when I found it, you guys. I was just like, you idiot, that's it. You can never have nice stuff ever again because you're a dope. And I don't know how this is going to work, so we're going to learn this together, apparently. You want it wet enough that it's going to run, but not wet enough that it's going to drip. So that's what I'm not sure about. We shall see. Generally, these, the glass dip pens especially, got to get it moving. They allow the ink to flow pretty good, and they don't blob as a rule. Not sure how that's going to work. Thinking. If you've got any suggestions, put it in chat. Could be that it's going to dry too quick. Because keep in mind, I got to go all the way around that D. All right, hang on. Soak it in Murphy's oil soap. You think, CV, will that work? I have Murphy's. That would be awesome. If I could get it to work, I would be the happiest little person alive. I'm not hosing you. I'm looking for another brand new brush that will have a really, really nice point. The thing I don't like about the 01s and the smaller brushes is they don't hold enough paint or water. So, I'm looking here, looking. I know I did buy a really nice, there we go, we'll try this one. What size? Well, that's a 6.2. Oh well, we're going to go with it. We're going with it. It's got a brand new point, so that's what I'm hoping. Of course, it's got the sizing on it, so got to wash it first. You know what? Wait a minute. Before I go around being such a big freaking dope, I'm going to say I might have some gold. I don't think I do. I know somewhere around here, you guys, that I have a metallic. And I can always mix some of the Schminke gold. But not in the time I have left. Well, alright. That brush is not going to work for sure because it's the one with the goofed up tip. So I can't use that one for sure. Okay, this one, the sizing is... The thing I'm worried about, you guys, is that my hand is not steady enough to paint a line. And at this point, I don't really want to goof it up. I'll have to think about it and come up with plan B. Because I'm not sure. Just bear with me. What about a gold vine? Well, that may be something I have to figure out, CB. That's a great idea, though. Leave it to CB. CB is brainy. That girl is brainy. All right. You know what? If I go slow, the line width, though, is maintaining that line width, I think is going to be impossible. Can you guys see it? Can I get the light right where you can see it? I don't think my hand is steady enough. A gold metallic. I have one around here somewhere, Elaine, but they work for crap. Soap and boiling water. Okay, Teresa, I'll do that. So far, here, let's see. After cleaning, saturate with soap, Dawn or pink soap for brushes, in shape to a fine point. Let brush dry on its side for a couple days. I've tried all that. Tried that. You've used hair conditioner on your brushes. Hi, Orla, by the way. I don't know. I was so mad because I set it. It would be like if I put the brush in this tin with its little hairs hanging out over the edge, and then I shut it so that, I mean, it stayed like that for I don't know how long, you guys. I really don't know how long, because I had 2 of this particular brush because it was my favorite size. Maybe I just need to man up and try it, Dar. I think I just need to man up and try to do this. Because the worst thing that can happen is if it turns out like crap, I can just go over it with black, right? Hello? Hey, Judy. I think I just need to man up and try it. Just put my big girl panties on and do it. What do you guys think? Because my time's almost up. I either am going to do it now. Let's see if my other brush that I love is my favorite brush, if I can control it a little better. The only thing I worry about this is this brush is worn now and it doesn't have that nice brand new point on it. If it's in synthetic, lightly steam it, then wrap the tip in plastic to let it dry. What this does is reset the salt bonds in the hair, just like if you wet your hair and curl it. Okay. Thank you, Juanita. Contact the brush guy. Actually, what Juanita's saying right there makes sense to me. Because I've tried soap, I've tried all right. I hope I don't goof it up. If I do, I'll just cover it with black. If it comes without a gold line dar, you know that, well, you're going to know before we end here, because I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. I'm nervous, but we're going for it. That's it. We're going for it, because you never, ever do anything if you don't just dig in, right? All right. I think to give myself a little bit of courage, I'm going to draw the line in. I'm going to draw it closer to one edge. Oh, that's a lot of freaking brush control going on over here, boys and girls. All right, at least I have a guide now. All right, I'm manning up. This is it. I am manning up. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Man up, girl. All right. Thanks, Judy. We just did this on the fly, man. Hope it's not too dirty on the inside, D. Dar. All right. Oh, man, I'm nervous. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it, and you'll know if you can. Oh, I got a little uncrooked there. Maybe I can fix it. I can breathe. Breathe, girl. You're gonna die if you don't breathe. It would help if I could see better, I think. Or am I just making damn excuses for myself now? I think that's what I'm doing. Can you guys see it? No, you can't see it as I'm working on it. Hang on, I'll hold it up so you can see. If I don't hold it up, it means I didn't do good. How about that? And I think I can actually go back with the black pen and clean up where I got the line too wide. I think I can make corrections to fix it where I've goofed up. And I have to remember, I'm not a machine. I got all the way around. Yeah, baby. Woohoo! All right, let me do just a tiny dab of cleanup. And then I think I will happily show it to you guys. I don't know. Because the cleanup is pretty minor. All right. I did it. No perfection, please. Well, Dar, I want it as close as I can get it, for Pete's sake. That I had to repair anyway because I had a goof in the D, so. I do like it with the gold. All right, I'm going to hold it up so you guys can see. Yeah, this pen doesn't like that. Whatever's in that watercolor, the binder, it really does not like it. Now I'm just getting nitpicky. All right. There we go. Can you see the gold around the edge? I hate these cameras. It's there. There it is. I'm trying to catch that light for you guys. Can you see it? Over here, I will straighten up that line a little bit. But yeah, I'm okay with it. I think it came out good. I'm happy with it. Well, Dara, I'm glad you're home at Cape May. Thanks, Joan. Thanks, you guys. All right, this is finding its new home with Artie Dar. I'm pretty happy with it. It was pretty simple. And you guys can do that too. That's how easy it is. Just draw yourself a letter, slap some flowers in it, and call it a day. The flowers I could probably shade and do a little bit better, but my time here is up. So if I decide to dink any more with it, I will do it by myself while I'm sitting here this afternoon, and I'll probably show you guys my that lettering book again as I go around collecting. More and more lettering. I'll show it periodically so you can see it grow with me. So thanks for hanging with me this afternoon, you guys. Go do something creative. Be kind. Next time you'll see me will be Thursday over at Dee Dee's. We'll be doing journaling by fives. And here's the rule about coming over and watching us at Dee Dee's. I think it's at is it 9:30 her time? 8:30 my time? The thing is, if you come to Dee Dee's stream on Thursday, you cannot make fun of me. Now, you can make fun of Dee Dee all you want, but you can't make fun of me. Okay? That's the only rule. Glad you guys see it my way. Love you guys a ton. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. Yes, we can. All right. Love you guys. See you later. Bye.